Greetings and wholeness.
Wholeness.
Wholeness. I do want to share that right now we are going through a transition, rites of passage, where my father has transitioned, and we are fundraising for the cost of his funeral. Right, so the link is in our bio to support us, and all right, we're gonna go in. So we want to talk about the importance of failure, right? And failure, I feel like, um, in the collective, right, or at least within the people that look like us, right? It's like a shameful thing when it comes towards like business, parenting, um, healing, whatever it is, in different areas of our lives, right? We may be caught in shaming others or being shamed, right? Because we took a risk, we tried something, new, and people, are um, in like ashamed themselves, right? Of starting something new, starting something in general, mostly because of like perfection, right? Where it's like when I start, I want it to be perfect. I definitely have that. you know. So I definitely share that, with other people, and I understand where they come from. But it's also very important to break through that, to learn something new, learn more about yourself, and it's really just learning more about yourself. And depending on your beliefs, but like your relationship with life, and death, like you want one would also appreciate life because of the pressure of death, the mystery, wonder of death, Um, yeah, so we just want to talk about again the importance of failure and sharing one's failure. And I know that sometimes like people don't want to invest in others because they're afraid that they will fail. But
Fail with them.
yes, ooh, yes,
I don't want to.
be part of that.
Or try to avoid failure, like it's a plague, a
A
plague,
plague.
a plague. It's like that's part of the process. That's why, as a collective, we, as a collective, we still are at a certain like kind of plateau of development. It's not something happen like it takes the next level, and next level is that innovation and learning from each other's failures and sharing it. So and being vulnerable enough for that because it's important because we're kind of afraid to show failure, especially in a delicate stage right now of us having children and stuff, and a family and all that, and our wife and husband and like other family members and all that. Like it's just so sensitive.
It is also
failure is kind of taboo.
And I also thank you so much for bringing that up because it just made me think about, a certain entity, that will like crack down on you based off of one's imperfections, right? Like it literally keeps you in line, for you to act a certain way, do a certain thing. If you fall out of line, then like crack down,
Spirit of doubt, or is it called also imposter syndrome?
Also, yes.
Where you're like, I knew I was gonna fail, I knew it. So it's like,
yeah,
it's like try it.
So. Exactly. It's like, what if I fail? What if I fail? Like the entire time, like, and it's like you're planning the entire time, planning, but not actually executing, not actually applying your knowledge. And I feel like usually it doesn't take until like your back's against the wall that you apply the knowledge.
When all of the beliefs and ego flies out the window. So okay.
Yeah. Yes. And when all those like expectations and high standards like dissolve, like you're just like, okay, I can be honest with myself. I can be honest with the world and the people around me. Like, that's when like mistakes humbles one's ego, and yeah, it's very important to humble thyself because then you're operating from clarity instead of delusion, of failure. And I remember we're talking about like the disease of perfection, like plagues people from trying, from experimenting, from making mistakes, getting messy, innovating, creating new worlds, like sometimes it's just like, why hasn't the world gotten better and whatnot, and like, not that I'm saying that it's going to be perfect, but it's just understanding like, and of course there's slow progress, but I feel like, again, when one fails, like let's say in a lifestyle diet that they really want to try, a parenting, like, tool or whatever, right, that someone wants to try, but they fail at it,
They quote unquote try, quote unquote fail,
Yeah.
No one's trying to,
we're doing it.
We're
working on it.
When we fail, because it's it's an inclusive thing, and when we do, and when we fail, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like when we, in person fail, right, in public, in the collective's eyes and stuff, right, like it's like, oh, okay, that's why I'm not doing that, and it's just, or, people put them down and whatnot. And, like, of course, like there can be toxic things, of course, but nonetheless, it's someone tried. Someone risked it, like went into went into the unknown, went into things like, let's say, like collectively we are like, yo, we should be doing better, and like we should be doing this, doing that, and the third, and then someone tries it, on their own, and everyone's watching, right, and not supporting.
Yeah, like they're watching people just like, getting mauled by a dog, pretty much. And I was watching, like,
and it's like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it would crumble. That's why I'm not there.
You're just watching it go down. No one trying to help that person. It's like, even though you know that you're like, in the same circle as that person, the name, the first name, the last name, as much as possible of them from your radius. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So we gotta do better for that.
And we are doing better. But yeah, it's very important to have supportive community, true supportive community, to see you through these mistakes, experimentations, because we are the scientists, like some things are just conceptualized instead of actually like applied, and then there are people that actually apply it. And now, like, just like scientists, it's like, oh, okay, like this is what we could have definitely done better. And then you tell other scientists, like, this didn't work out for me. This is why, this and the third. And then so like other scientists can do it other ways now, instead of like doing the same mistake, the same experimentation.
Like it's welcome. It's welcome. It's like, oh no, hell no, I
Yes.
don't want I don't want that around me. I'll be near that. It's definitely welcomed and it's nurtured. The quote unquote
Yes.
failure is nurtured and and it's supported. It supports the person that went through it. Like it's definitely it's a collective thing. I also want to say like a lot of people too. For the collective, it's like we need to like build a like a spiritual human pyramid, as in we like stack up on other people's like shoulders to get up and create that foundation. A lot of us we're doing it alone, and kind of like in a rat race, like we're not supporting each other to create a human pyramid. It's like when someone's like it's there, like you can like use that knowledge of their failure to like as a stepping stone, you know, rather than like a okay, that's like to completely disregard that way of it, because it's important that we realize that these are developmental stages to um you know develop
To
higher,
grow,
yeah, grow higher.
to evolve as a collective, and I do want to say an example is a baby. First, learn to crawl. Sometimes babies, you got to do tummy time, you got to crawl, you got to stand up, you got to run, you got to, eventually control walking, you know? So some people are actually seeing you in your tummy time, and being like, oh my God, mm-mm-mm, you know? But should be, just be like
Getting yeah,
celebrating, like,
get some towels, support, work the perimeter of it,
exactly.
get some hot food for the mom, you know.
Just some type of support, like, hey, keep going, show some love. It doesn't take $1, but now that we're talking about $1, I do want to let you know that we are fundraising for my dad's funeral, right? To send him back home, to fulfill his wishes, to be on the land where he's loved by family and friends. The link will be in our description below. And thank you so much in advance for supporting us. And yeah, so much more can come to you 1,000-fold, a millionfold, Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your richness with us. Okay, so back to the topic at hand, where we are talking about failure is important for our growth, which also, you know, puts us in the direction of collaboration, especially because we are scientists, right? So this is basically failure is important. We are the scientists, right? And failure in isolation, again, breeds shame, whatever, It depends on where your mind is at,
Grief is just like quote unquote negative emotions.
you know? And with community, it's seen as collective intelligence, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like being in nature, and you don't know that plant's poisonous. You don't know. And someone has to figure it out, test it out, see if they're gonna die or not from that plant. Someone gotta do it in some way, or I don't know how. Maybe the lab rat equivalent, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
they is valued in a real terrain. Is valued,
Yeah, someone got to be the martyr, Right? So a scientist also does not expect perfection the first time around. And we shouldn't expect that in our lives, within healing, parenting, life. Like we said, a baby, how you came here, it wasn't viewed as mistakes, right? But a collective intelligence, a part of collective intelligence. Right. And I feel like, anyways, I was going to go off on spiritual stuff, just talking about milestones and stuff, but yeah, it also shows us the will to apply, what right? Like you don't really know until you try, right? Instead of just conceptualizing it and just being like, oh yeah, I know that, being a know-it-all, but you haven't applied it, right? Failure also helps us to refine ourselves, get to know ourselves more, get to know our community more, right? Because true community actually creates a safe environment, right? To experiment, to be innovative, yeah.
Even to experiment in the first place. A lot of us have certain, grandeur, like big ideas and all that. But like really cannot do it alone. Okay, you want to build an airplane. You can't do it by just one person. It's not, you can't. You need a whole team to, build an airplane.
We all need each other. For example, when we open our eyes, someone built that bed, someone built those lights, someone built that door, someone, is mailing our package right now as we go. Someone created this phone, someone created this laptop, someone created this TV, something, someone, Yeah. And I do want to also, shout out to the warriors out here that are doing it on their own, with no one to celebrate their success, their failures, their trial and error, their will to keep moving forward.
Seriously.
Yes. Like, and stepping into the unknown. Right. And
because a lot of people, it's not, if they're not supported, they may feel like they cannot stay in the truth because of the lack of support.
Exactly. And that's why usually you see, for example, right, there is a quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Right. And that naturally you get it. Right. But in an example for, like, let's say people who fast, people who are trying new things in general, maybe it's just me, but I definitely need help outside of myself to keep going because I'm like, you know what, I'm done. But I definitely noticed that I would go longer in a fast or anything with the help of others,
That's true. Like, even for us, for these past few years, we realize that, oh wow, we're kind of like doing this with not even people that are like-minded around us,
Yes, so and still being supportive.
We can only imagine,
And I do want to say, even in our marriage, in our union, like what we are, purposely, intentionally living, it is like, I feel like we're going further within ourselves, within our relationship, our union, and in life, our purpose, because we have each other. Even though, like, sometimes it's like, ah, damn, like, it's just you, but I do want to say, give thanks to the ones that, show love and support along our journey. Definitely remind us, like, it ain't easy,
but it is.
But it is,
it's the same amount of work to, making it easy and making it hard for yourself.
It still takes work.
No matter what, it's work,
Yeah, no matter what, it's a challenge. you know? And that's what I'm learning. Like some people will see life, like a quote, as a blessing or a curse, and warriors see literally everything as a challenge. you
Mm-hmm.
know,
It's a blessing being on the battlefield.
yes, to be challenged,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um,
Yeah.
yes, to be refined, um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think we talked about, like it would definitely be easier to quit, doing it alone. Um,
Yeah, and to go and to do what? Like what are you quitting? Like quitting living in your own spiritual path and journey and own happiness.
and I do want to share a quote about, the question of the path that one is on. And it's like, there's two paths, you know? Hold on. So we're talking about the spiritual journey, the path to nowhere, right? But there are two paths, one without heart and one with heart, and the better path is with heart, right? Like keeping your heart light as a feather, you know. Um,
And like people, will not appreciate heart, but they appreciate mind. More than heart right now, and logically, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people.
And I do want to say that we are also cultivating our heart's mind as well, because our heart gains, knowledge and wisdom, intuition. It gets refined. We eventually, get to master our heart, by, again, refining ourselves, going on the path where the heart is, because what is a life without heart,
And just like us, come together, because again, we're doing this, alone. We're in this nuclear, familial unit, doing these things as a collective for the most part, and like,
That's a lot.
the time will come when we're together doing this, in our own small little factions, and just we already know the signs of like the synchronicities, when like make people working in the same on the same thing, it's gonna be smoother and more efficient and just grow bigger,
And I do also want to share that I also appreciate that people are walking through their heart's mind, like in a different space, because again, they're collecting data, for the collective intelligence, mind, heart, and all, right? For the collective body and all of that, right? So we understand that it may just be us meeting up like this.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we are in that age where, like we are connected through the interwebs, www, 0101 11001.
Yeah, and I think also spirit made it where yes, we're that's why they call it scattered.
Scattered, yes.
And it's because we're able to cover more data globally, being scattered, in that way, then we can just have a wider web pretty much. Because if we're all together in one big castle, people will probably it'd be very noticeable and easy to just crumble down at one castle. But if there's multiple, mini castles all across the whole globe, that's more safer and more sustainable than we're all together in one big ass castle.
Right. And we are portals, right? So creating those portals throughout the grid, is important, right? Where it's like, oh, like there's a whole fire happening here. We gonna portal over there, So just keeping those bridges alive and watered, and yeah, nourishing the connections that we have with each other. And I know, like, on the interwebs, it's kind of like, oh, this is surface level. Like, it's not real. That's like saying that your dreams aren't real, even though, like, you'll wake up and you're like, but you felt it. And, like, for example, like, people will be like, scientists will say, like, if you could imagine, like, a car crash, right? Like, your body has gone through that, like,
Mm-hmm.
like through your cells and all of that. Like, they felt it. They've,
Mm-hmm.
that anxiety, like, the body remembers, the breath, right? So, like, um, it is whatever you make it, but to us, it's where the heart is.
Mm-hmm. It's a part of life,
Mm-hmm.
all these little small, small talks and all that, or even it's like someone you never met,
Inspiration. Sorry, I
you,
want to share
you
that.
never met person, in person,
Mm-hmm.
but we cannot deny the fact that there's a strong connection between us, even though we have not met ourselves personally, physical body to physical body,
Mm-hmm.
it's still a strong connection, and we know as soon as we do meet in person, it's gonna feel so like, oh yeah, like, I know this person, like, just it's gonna feel so natural, like a
Mm-hmm.
high school reunion or something like that, so yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but like in the cosmos,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's important to exercise that muscle, the heart, the will, to try new things, to experiment, to know that you are safe to try new things, that, um, like, it only brings you closer to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like, it's also about, like, trusting life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you trust life, do you trust that, like, the path is, I don't want to say about, like, happiness, but, like, about refining yourself, and meeting yourself, like, past one's limits, the idea of oneself, the idea of one's identity, the idea of someone's shame or limits, that they put on us, Um, do you dare to, like, just trust life, trust the unknown, step into the unknown? And again, I do want to say and give gratitude to the ones that, show, like, the warriors out there that show love, on our warriorship, our path, you know, um, and challenges, you know, um, and have not seen us as a failure, but, as warriors. And I do want to say I give thanks to my dad because he truly, like, valued, like, my warriorship. He's like, keep going, keep going. I'm like, I'm homesick. He's like, keep going. So I do want to also share that we are fundraising for my dad's funeral and fulfill his wishes to be buried, to rest in his homeland, amongst family and friends.
Which is Barbados.
Yes. And the GoFundMe is in the description below. Any support helps, sharing it, anything helps.
Comment as well.
Yes.
Share your questions as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, if you agree with this, don't agree with it, we would love to know what's going on in the collective. So yeah, this is what we wanted to share, is that we've definitely publicly made mistakes, but definitely we're on the path of refinement, accountability, being held accountable, even if it stings.
What do you say failure is like the poison and the antidote? Is that a good way of putting it as well?
I want to say failure is like
Yeah, what is
life.
that? Yeah,
Like
what is
it's,
failure?
yeah, truly what is failure? Because like at the end of the, oh, I'm about to go in. But like, okay, so I'm sure anyone who's been on the warrior path, right? It's again, you're learning to crawl. You're learning you're learning to keep your head up, you know,
Mm-hmm.
after you were just born, and you know, God, the most high, whatever you believe in, the universe, the higher self, just came and snatched everything that you thought was real, and and you just gotta keep your head up, keep afloat. Shoot, you might be like, damn, this this person robbed me. You're on the floor, can barely walk, you crawling, like you're like, Lord of mercy.
Or like you're in this like new place
Yes.
and you have no idea what you're doing at all.
Yes.
But you gotta act like you know what you're doing though.
Yes.
The whole time. You gotta be like, yeah, just act like it. You gotta have that confidence and have that faith that you're in the right direction,
Yes, like, and trusting your heart, by practicing your, like, using your will, and I feel like we all have been through life and we're like, wow, it all works out. Wow, it all works out.
And it always does.
It always does. And then you're just like, ugh, I shouldn't have worried. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have worried. The whole time I was sweating my brow.
Yeah, the people here that own like a Caribbean restaurant, like, how are you still open in this economy? But they're still open. Or how people paying rent? That's like crazy amount of market rent, but it's still out there in the home. They're still sheltered.
Yes, yes. Like somehow we're always being provided for, like the great provider, I think I saw, like, I don't remember the quote to be exact, but I feel like I'm just quoting.
Quote season.
Right? Like just how, I don't know, I think it was in the Bible or something like that. Someone was talking about it, the Bible is like the greatest book,
most published book, I'll say.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, still,
that everyone reads, right? So they refer to it and stuff like that. But like, I think it was talking about how like the husband is not the provider, but like, the Most High provides like through him, So the Most High, be providing, through everyone. And I do again want to say thank you in advance for supporting our GoFundMe, our fundraiser to fulfill my dad's wishes, and yeah, it really means a lot to us to see this through, and close that chapter.
Because, Shama's dad is big reason why she is who she is. Has like the knowledge, the masculine aspect that gave her that, that download, like just like the mindset,
Yes.
That's most important, and help space for her to help cultivate her to who she is now and her very special role in the collective.
Right, for sure. Like definitely sharing one's will, and celebrating like the truth, like me being like, faced with the truth, and I feel like that's what life is like being faced with the truth. And you're just like, okay.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we can't forget, we're like, oh, we, just the temporariness of it, how short life is. Like, oh wow, and like so very plus, we really are in a different mind frame, since this beautiful, page of life.
Yeah, so we're going through our rites of passage and we have been celebrated. We have been like blessed, and I want to say like again celebrated through this, not sorrow or anything. Like I truly like, of course sometimes it does hit like, the human part of me, right? But yeah. Um but yeah, to keep it light, like people have definitely kept us uplifted, you know. Um yeah, so again, we really do appreciate your support, in every way. Yeah, so that is it for sharing, one's failures. Share it,
Sharing is caring.
yeah, right? Like,
Because like I feel like a lot of times, we're kind of taught from society to like just hide, don't tell anyone your plans, don't tell anyone your
how
failures,
much
keep it to
money you
yourself,
make, how much money you don't make.
whatever it is, and like just
I mean, yeah, like,
of course,
you don't have to overshare.
discern,
Yeah.
discern, and like, but
Mhm.
like I feel like we gotta, there's some aspects we gotta share more,
Mhm.
between people, because it just there's definitely
I'm like trying to make the light on you.
there's definitely work that will be done.
Mhm. And work that is done, just again, just getting that data, like that's work, like we're all working on our refinement with ourselves, with creation, with the creator, with life itself, with the
Like,
the mystery of life, like just getting to know, we won't know it all in one lifetime, the mystery of life, but
it's a paradox,
mhm.
we are it, but it's also we will know it.
Mhm.
You know how it is when it's like you don't know things until it's too late. It's like, I knew it. It's something we we transform, we leave this realm. Like, shit, that's what it was.
Right.
I can't go back there and tell anyone what it was anymore.
Mhm.
Shit, it's how it's like you don't you don't know how it was for your parents until you are a parent. Damn, boy, I knew this earlier.
Yeah, and it's the transition of another phase, another life, another, so is there life after death? And there certainly is, it shows in this warriorship in life in general, and through transitions it's very important for the spirit to be met with acknowledgement, or else we would literally like just be like
in stagnation.
in stagnation, in isolation, stagnant in isolation, right? And like we would quit instead of going further and further, literally just someone being like, I see you, I see you. And I do want to say that I really appreciate people that, have acknowledged our transition, our rites of passage. Um, like that also means a lot to one spirit. I know it's like sometimes we don't have the means to support, financially, but spiritually, just acknowledging each other,
It does. It's definitely energetic and helps.
Yeah, like we know that. We know the importance of acknowledging each other, through things,
Yeah, because I want to say as well too, like it's like we don't trust people's failures, as in like okay, someone felt this way, and maybe sometimes people may like not trust that will happen to them, or they don't relate to them.
I mean, I feel like I definitely used to be I still am, can be hard headed.
They go through the exact same trap.
Exactly. I feel like I definitely understand that too, where I can be hard headed and be like, nah, I'm doing this. But you grow up and you're like, okay, you were saying something.
So instead of seeing someone just fall into that pit, per se, and then you walk, thinking what will happen to you or that person like that. It's like, nah, like, supposed to like use that as a stepping stone to, go further. Not like, okay, now we're all in the same pit now. It's like, damn, you could have, seen me and use that instead of being like, oh, nah, like, just kind of like a
Oh, I'm not gonna do that.
individualistic, tendency where we kind of just, I gotta like, figure out see myself through kind of,
And like the aesthetic of like perfection and the aesthetic of like failure and mistakes and experimentation. Like perfection is like neat, organized, refined, mastered, and like, experimenting, trying new things, stepping into the unknown, taking risk is messy. And if you see children in a certain phase when they haven't mastered like control or just getting to know the world in general, they're loud, they're messy, they're like, it's gonna be a lot for definitely an OCD person, a perfectionist, I'm gonna say guilty. Um, right? But yeah, it's definitely training yourself, practicing not being like, oh my God, to like mess and like just living life, it's a lot.
That's life. Yeah.
I do also want to say like there's a Dao De Ching quote. You're welcome. Right? About like beauty needs ugly, ugly needs beauty, up needs down, down needs up, like needs they need each other.
The premise of like the Tao Te Ching in general is like that,
Yeah. So, order needs chaos, chaos needs order, So
or it can be like, something that's valuable only loses value. Makes you, like value less. But having less is the Tao. The Tao is, the way. Something like it's like that where it's like, yeah, just the polarity kind of just increases, or the awareness. It leads back to the nothingness.
Yeah, it's important to support. Like it goes as like it can go as little or as much as literally being like, yo, keep going. Of course, again, like things are messy. Like we have developed like certain people's mindset, like mentally, psychologically, our minds, our hearts, our like everything, right, is has been programmed, a certain way, and us getting out of that, like what's good, what's bad, what's while also navigating life. I don't know, man.
Like what's ours, what's theirs, but it's like fused in kind of, and like it's like always going to be there because it's literally a part of your life.
Yes.
And like, okay, working with others as well too that are just parallels to us, and it's like they have their own programs, we have our own programs too, and like working with it, not using that, okay, yeah, a person's just like not going to change per se, and it's like, nah, the person's in your life for a reason.
Yeah, and maybe it's to learn to accept like reality, like or like some type of reality, and there is nothing to change, except, if you have the possibility to change, how you view failure.
Yeah, spirits are going to force us to change us, That's
yeah, exactly.
Life is.
Just naturally. Exactly. And are you going to wait until some people, I do.
Like regardless,
learn to
back to the same path, right?
Yeah, like when you're afraid of change, like you kind of like wait until like you literally wait until like your back's against the wall, and you're just like, well, I gotta move now,
And it's just like, and sometimes like it may seem like, you know, people are ahead of their time because they're willing to make changes, you know? And some people can end up shrinking in environments and life because, you know, just paradoxes, man. Just learning to accept, like, this is where the world is.
Accept the void. You know, the void, that in-between spot, like that Venn diagram and like that middle, that's like a Pisces spot, and like, okay, this is where it is. This is the balance.
Yeah, like, does anyone hear me? Am I screaming like into the void? And it's just like, yeah, like you just gotta keep going, like. But yeah, it's very important to have true and supportive community. And that is refined as well. It's not going to be perfect. We're all learning. We're all growing. We're all evolving. We're all moving past our limits and ideas of what life is supposed to look like, what we're supposed to be like, what others are supposed to show, how others is supposed to show up.
We're getting there, guys. We're getting there.
Yeah, we are. We feel it. And yeah, I just want to say, like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Like, you know, I'm just thinking about how like richness is like measured by, you know, material things. But I don't know, like this path has definitely showed me how rich I am with the connections that I have and how people show up for me. You know, when you know, you're met with confusion, with sadness, grief, anger, rage, like, you know, and people either share stories, you know, like what they've gone through, the challenges they've met, you know, and how they've dealt with it, you know, and how, like, sometimes showing up for you, you know, is probably how they wish like other people showed up for them, or how they would have loved to like show up for themselves at that time. And like when you are a reflection, you know, it like they're able to do that even for themselves. So even like sometimes showing up for others is like medicine for yourself, you know. It depends on how you think, but that's how I feel, you know. Like,
definitely.
I like, even in the line of work that I do, you know, and like service that I'm in with a collective, like their transformation is like mine as well, you know. I'm just like transformed as well. So let's transform together, guys. Transformers unite. You know,
that's a robot sound, you know, when it's shifting around its parts and all that jazz,
right? Yeah. And it's calling its other people from like other like cosmic stars, you know. And it's like,
yes, guys, we're coming. We're all robots, okay? We're all robots.
Robots in disguise.
In disguise. In disguise, though.
Why buy a mattress?
We're not normal people. I mean, we are, but we're in disguise. Right? So,
yeah, nice.
It's got like human flesh, human shell, and we're just like really from different like astral, you know, parts that come here, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, so we leave you with that. You know, keep feeling, man. What did Miss Frizzle say? Get messy, make mistakes. You know, you're supported, you're loved. You know, we're sending you love through this journey of warriorship, through this journey of challenges that you will face every day.
And we're all doing it together. So, you know,
yes,
next time, you know, you're going through a beautiful, we are going through a beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going through a beautiful experience as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And maybe it's the opposite where you're going through a beautiful time and we're going through some challenges.
It's all
But
beautiful.
but I do want to say like challenges, like we were talking about earlier about, just being joyful and stuff like that. Like we have to work hard at relaxing, taking rest, like taking care of ourselves, like go choosing our heart. It's all work. It's all hard work. Okay, so we're just sending you strength, along your journey. Strength, wisdom, um, in your warriorhood. Okay, this time we
Oh,
wholeness.
there we go.